want to give a quick update about the XFL. Week 3 of the XFL. Who would have known? So
It happened.
So our update with that: the Sea Dragons win their first game. Ben DiNucci throws for 377 yards.
Let's go,
4
Ben.
touchdowns, 29-37. Ben DiNucci leads the league in both passing yards, touchdowns, and completions. He's on pace. He's on pace to being the XFL MVP. Very important. He might be in the NFL again. Josh Gordon, 6 catches for 118 yards and 2 tutties. He's balling. Seattle Sea Dragons are my favorite team. And then the DC Defenders, they beat the Battlehawks. They moved to 3-0. AJ McCarron still balling with the Battlehawks.
Let's go, AJ.
4 touchdowns, 262 passing yards, 26 of 42. He's balling. Maybe he gets an opportunity in the XFL again. Or the NFL again.
No, absolutely not.
NFL?
AJ McCarron, are you? No.
Look at PJ Walker.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's going to be a starter. He could be a backup, though.
A backup, sure. Yeah.
And then we got the Renegades. This was the worst XFL game I've ever seen. It was Renegades beat the Orlando Guardians 10-9. I mean, think about that Broncos game. Broncos and 49ers, how awful that game was. But picture that with worse, competition.
Yeah, we got to run the ball, fellas. XFL really needs to figure out the offensive line situation because right now it's just passing with very below average, kicked out of the league, banished NFL quarterbacks. Some of these quarterbacks were even banished from Canada. They were so bad. And then you're telling me that you're going to give them no offensive line, no running game, and then not be able to complete a 1-point conversion. And anytime you throw it, you get it. And the guy's wide open in the corner of the end zone somehow. But every time you run it, the guy just gets stuffed 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage. The amount of 15-yard losses on screens in this league is mind-blowing. It's like bad. Hilarious to watch, but I'm like, some of the losses they're taking, but like the defensive players really get some mojo. This is like the wildest people on earth that slightly weren't good enough to make the NFL, and then you're putting them on the defensive line versus offensive lines that really can't play, and running backs that can't play, and quarterbacks that can't play. Defense is definitely going to always have the advantage, I feel like, in these lower tier football leagues.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But Paxton Lynch, talking about somebody who got banished, he sucks in the XFL too.
Yeah,
benched. He's terrible. And then Houston Roughnecks, they moved to 3-0, beat the Hines Ward-led Brahmins. Brahmins, their quarterback is god-awful. Don't even know his name. He sucks that bad. There's 2 teams that are still undefeated. We got the Roughnecks and the Defenders.
Okay.
So that's cool. Very nice. And then the 2 winless teams are the Vipers and the Guardians. What do they both have in common? Their quarterback sucks. And that is our update. Now for week 4, we're going to see the Roughnecks, the undefeated Roughnecks, take on the winless Guardians. That ought to be a game.
No.
We got the winless Vipers taking on the undefeated Defenders. That'll be a game. The San Antonio Brahmins are going to take on my Seattle Sea Dragons, Ben DiNucci.
Your Seattle Sea Dragons.
That's the team I picked for the XFL.
How much are XFL jerseys going for these days?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Something to consider. And then the Arlington Renegades, they'll take on the Battlehawks, AJ McCarron-led Battlehawks. And that's our XFL update for today.
Yeah.
XFL, still a good product. They did take a bit of a ratings dip the last couple of weeks.
No.
Not severe. It's not severe, though. They're still generating about 1 million people a year, a week.
That's really good, actually. For a TV show?
That's fine.
Yeah, if you're just looking at it like on a cable status, like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty decent program, especially taking place during a sports star, where if you can just throw it on ESPN instead of, I don't know, like high school field hockey or the minor league World Series, like much rather watch Ben DiNucci play than that.
Absolutely. And I think it's a working progress as long as they're making money, which I think they definitely are, especially with the exclusive ESPN rights. They're definitely making a profit.
Do you know anyone who bets on it?
Yeah, I know a couple people have played with it. It's so unfamiliar though. It's such a hard thing to gamble on. Because in gambling, there's like, it's a risk. You take a risk when you're gambling, but at the same time, like, at least for me, if I were to gamble, but I don't, then I feel like I want to know what I'm betting on, which is why I would want to bet on the NBA. I want to bet on the NFL, baseball, something like that, where I know it. But the XFL, it's like, we're in week 3. I don't know what the fuck this team is. The Sea Dragons were 0-2, and they lost pretty badly the week before. And then they scored 30 points. Ben DiNucci threw for 377 yards. I'm like, For all I know, next game he's going to throw 6 picks. Who knows?